Hi everyone, greetings from National Skills Network. This is Madhuri, and if you have been following our channel, you would have seen a few conversations which we have featured from the leadership team and other members of NTTF. And this time I have a special guest. And before I introduce you the guest, I'll also tell you the occasion. So this is a special occasion for NTTF because this is the 65th foundation year, with the theme of how they are celebrating the legacy of excellence and transforming lives at the same time of hundreds and thousands of youth over the last 6+ decades. And in this context, I think alumni of NTTF have a very special place. So, they would have played a very important role being role models, being cheerleaders for the future generations. And we have one such alumnus today with us, Mr. Vinod Parackal, who is the Senior Manager, Engineering and Development at Dell. And I'm very excited to have this conversation with you, Vinod, today.
Me
Yeah.
too. Thanks for the opportunity.
One is because of your journey, after the NTTF Diploma program. Let us track your journey from the diploma that you completed in electronics, electrical, and electronics engineering from NTTF. Which year was this, Vinod?
I passed out in 2002. I was part of 99 batch.
Okay, great. So it's
Yes,
been more than 2 decades, right?
yes, indeed.
Yes, that's very interesting. So, after doing this diploma, we saw that, you have built a very interesting career, like a path which you have carved out for yourself from diploma to bachelor's to master's. This is actually really inspirational because, as I said, from technical training and technical education and vocational kind of streams, this would be like an ideal career path for many. So I think we are very interested to learn more about how you reached the position today and how you built this over a period of time.
Like any youngsters at my age at that time, my primary focus was getting a job.
Okay.
I think that was a major focus. So I heard about NTTF through a friend. I had no clue about NTTF honestly, other than uh, being one such institution who will take care of you once you get in, right?
Okay.
Your career is safe
Mm.
once you get in there. So that's the first impression that I've got. And one thing that I remember my friend saying that this institution was built by Swiss government, and then it was supported by them, and hence the quality was ensured,
Mm.
right? So that
Yeah.
that really got me into it. And then once I joined NEC, Entity of Electronics Center in Bangalore in '99. That's when the journey started.
Okay.
So, like I said, I completed the course in 2002, and I
Yeah.
got placed in Dell Tech through campus interview.
Mhm.
So the Dell Tech is a sister concern of Dalmia Siemens. That's when I got into the industry. By the
Yeah.
time I came out of NTTF, the industry was actually changing. The landscape was changing,
Mhm.
and I realized that diploma is not enough. So
Oh,
that pushed me further to pursue my BTech in Anna University, and
okay.
then later I did my MS in software systems in BITS Pilani.
Sorry, let me just interrupt you here. You said you perceived that the industry was changing. Can we know more about what were those signs which you could see that, things were changing?
When we got out of this college,
Mm-hmm.
it was in its very initial stage in India. So I was placed in Chennai,
Okay.
and I must say that Chennai was just in the very initial stage of becoming an IT hub at that point in time.
Oh, okay.
What you see today is not how it was uh,
Mm,
20 years back.
right.
And there were very few companies were established, and I could really see there are more companies being welcome to set up their facility in Chennai,
Mhm.
and also in Bangalore. Bangalore was the same case then. So
Right.
it's around the early 2000, around 2000, it
Mhm.
started the bubble started to explode, and then my colleagues
Mhm.
getting better packages, better facilities, better opportunities.
Right.
Um, and it was actually the companies were really attracting
Mhm.
the young talent at that point in time.
Mhm.
So, and then one of the criteria at that point in time also was that um the to get onboarded, you must possess engineering degree.
Mhm.
Indirectly that made me pursue my BTech in computer science, and that's how I got into Anna University and then did my computer science engineering.
Oh, that's really nice. And I really like the way you described the signs you could see, right? And I think, the industry changing, like you said. I hope the audience for this, interview, they make a note of this. I think now it's become even more dynamic, right? With AI coming in, with so much of technology taking over. So, what you're trying to say is that, when we perceive this, we have that kind of a, I would say aspiration to do better, like you said, whether it is the kind of pay package or the quality of work or the job role, right? So from here now, you went on to do your master's. So what was
That's
the
that's true.
motivation?
I think that was my probably one of my personal goal.
Oh,
Uh, and I must say that there's nothing to do with what I was doing back then. And then, I mean, in terms of my job.
now, let me come back to your days at NTTF. While you were doing this program, I'm sure you would have had a kind of a, very structured training, and then of course some holistic kind of programs, being done around your diploma period. So, how did this program help you overcome, let's say, challenges or some tough situations or anything positive or negative in your professional life later?
So back then, we were all in the campus. We were staying inside the campus.
Oh.
Only just three batches of electronics course. I think the course name was CP4.
Okay.
So we were about like 130 students within the campus, all of us staying inside the campus.
Mhm.
And the labs were open 24 hours. So you can walk into the lab and then do your experiments and learn how much ever you want. There was no restrictions in terms of learning that we could have from this place.
Mhm.
So it was so flexible. And then another part that I won't really stress on is the practical oriented learning. So
Right.
it was about, the ratio of 70-30,
Mhm.
where 70% is practical and 30% is theory.
Mhm.
So the practical sessions were followed by the theory sessions in the morning,
Mhm.
and we all get into the lab by noon, and then continue our experiments and or practice what we have learned in theory sessions in the lab
Oh.
for the rest of the day. So this place has actually given us a lot of practical hands-on experience
Mhm.
than any other place that I can ever imagine, right? And in fact, I've never come across any training institution
Mhm.
who was giving its students this kind of facility and experience. So I've seen. I say this with complete conviction because I've seen many of my peers
Mhm.
um, coming to the industry, joining the team, joining the company with just theoretical knowledge,
Oh.
and they might not have even seen the electronic components or the equipments that they have learned from their theory sessions.
Mhm.
So it was so interesting to
Mhm.
see some people uh, saying that, oh, this is the resistor that I've learned, or this is the
Okay.
capacitor that I've learned. Okay.
Okay.
So that was the first time they were seeing all these components. So, but
Mhm.
this place uh, had introduced all of us to all these components and everything that we can think of. uh, uh, to be part of being an engineer, being an electronics engineer, well ahead of time. So they made us industry ready right from the beginning. And like
Mm.
you rightly pointed out, the comprehensive, the training was very comprehensive, I must say. It is not just about electronics basics and its practical sessions, but you know how to make one um, youngster capable of building an electronic solution from scratch is
Okay.
what we have learned from this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So starting with basics of electronics to how to design a circuitry, to how to
Mm.
convert that into PCB,
Yeah.
printed circuit board, and how to manufacture that printed circuit board,
Mm.
and how to select the components and populate them onto the board, and then make it working, and make it design a beautiful chassis for this,
Mm.
the mechanical design, and then how to make it as a working model, a proto model for the product. So
Yeah.
this place has given that experience, that complete holistic experience of what we are going to do in an electronics industry when you're part of the industry. So I think that's the key differentiation between NTTF and other colleges, I must say. My own friends and relatives
Yeah.
who have studied in other colleges, I can easily compare them. They don't have a clue of how to design a electronic circuitry. Uh, I mean, computer science engineers are a little different. They know how to write the programs and how to build the software a little bit, not to an
Yeah.
extent that that will make them capable of entering into the industry without any hassle. But uh, this is where NTTF is making the difference.
Mm.
I think I don't know how much I've realized this fact when I was in NTTF, when I was studying there. But
Okay.
once I came out of this place, I
Mm.
started realizing how different it was and how impactful it is.
Mm.
So it made my whole journey very easy. I was completely ready to enter into the industry the moment
Mm.
I stepped out. You know, because I knew exactly I had the clarity. How can I build an electronic system
Mhm. Yeah.
without the help of anyone?
Mm.
And luckily, I landed in a company called Dell uh, through campus interview, and they were doing exactly the same.
Mm.
So I was placed. I, um, I mean, I was asked to design electronic circuits and, you know, build the prototypes from the scratch. I could happily do it because I had the clarity how to do it. So I didn't. In fact, I didn't go through any training after joining the company
Yeah.
because I was already trained.
Yes, I think this speaks volumes about the quality of training and also the nature of training.
Yeah,
I think two or three very important takeaways for all of us from what you told us, the entire story so far is this 70-30%, like you said, 70% practicals. I think this is the essence of any hands-on technical practical training, and which you rightly pointed out is missing in a typical BTech or a typical engineering or any of those courses, which we are very well aware of, right? So I think this is a very big differentiating factor about courses like these, which are making you hands-on from day one. And as you very rightly pointed out, when you enter the job market or when you go to the, the workplace, I think you are more or less like productive from day one, as we say, right? More or less, I would say, which doesn't need there's no need for you to again go through another training programs. And along with it, I think you have also must have seen like how what we call as 21st century skills today, being prepared for the world of work, and being holistic through various soft skills and others. I'm sure that also must have been a part of your program then, isn't that so?
definitely. Um, I must say, to start with, I started speaking English after I joined this course. I
Okay.
mean, I started speaking. English on a day-to-day basis. I come from a village in Kerala, and my conversations were not in English
Perhaps there
till
was
that
no
till that
need.
point.
Yeah, there was
There,
no
there,
need.
there, there was no need. I was speaking my own mother tongue, and then uh, that's all was needed at that point in time. And then once I came into this place,
Mm.
we started interacting in English. That's when I started using English, became part of my life, or on day-to-day life. So this place has given me that the confidence of speaking to public in a different language that I never knew before,
Mm.
or I was not very comfortable with, I must say. And this place has definitely given me that opportunity, that imparted that skill in me to speak confidently to anyone.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's one thing. The second thing, which is very interesting,
Mm.
is that the HRP, Human um, Resource Principles, there was a small booklet which we used to
Oh,
chant
okay.
during the morning assembly every day.
Mhm.
But back then, I never realized the real meanings of these principles, honestly. But
Okay.
now, recently, one of my batchmates shared this, the leaflets, and then the photos of this leaflet. And then that's when I really started reading them, and then I understood how powerful they were. And
Mm.
they're still relevant today.
Yeah.
So if somebody is listening to this, listening to me, or people who are listening to me, just take a look at the HRP the principles or the leaflet that you must have got, and see how impactful they are. Try to understand the meaning of it, and
Mm.
then think about it. I'm sure those principles are still relevant. It's not just about learning electronics or computers or
Correct.
IT or other technical skills, but these principles actually make an engineer perfect, right? It's the attitude with which at the end of the day, uh, we're all humans. We work as a team. Individually, we cannot win.
Right.
So how to win, how to make good relationships, how to win friends, and how to make long-lasting relationships,
Yes.
and how to build your brand.
Right.
I think these principles will help you.
That's so important today. I'm sure there is something similar happening at NTTF even today, with these HR principles that you mentioned. I think this is more about holistic development, making somebody a good professional and also a good human being, which is so important, like you pointed out. And now let me check with you what would be like, say, you would have probably been interacting with people younger than you in your current organization, and I'm sure you would have seen their interests and gauged their kind of preparedness. And perhaps you are also aware of the younger generation today, uh, and their choices, their aspirations. Let's say if they want to join programs like the ones from NTTF, what would be the kind of advice for you? Is there a message you would want to pass on to this generation, why they should be choosing technical education and training for to build a future like yours, or similar futures? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say uh, NTTF can really help you
Hmm.
make a hands-on engineer from the scratch up. I
Yeah.
think that's the important thing that one should understand before considering joining NTTF.
Hmm.
So, do you really want to have a certificate, a degree certificate? If that's what you're looking for, then probably you can go to any college, right?
Hmm.
But when it comes to NTTF, like I said, you're going to have the hands-on training on what you're going to learn, the theory that the concepts that you're going to learn. You're going to have a practical exposure to um, uh, on how to implement those concepts in the real world. So that will make you a real engineer.
Correct.
The engineer is not just a person who's knowing the theory or knowing the concept, which I think anyone can do today. There are a lot of YouTube channels, videos.
Yes.
Um, one can easily, if you're interested, you can actually very easy to learn concepts.
Yeah.
But if you really want to build yourself, your career from scratch up as an engineer, then I think you must consider this place, because this place will give you uh, a holistic exposure to the industry, to the technology or the domain that you're interested in.
Yeah.
What I would say.
Yes, very true. And also there are so many emerging technologies today, right? Like robotics and others. We talk about smart manufacturing. So there are many subjects also that are there for the students to pick up from and then go hands-on. I'm sure that's a very big differentiator, like you have emphasized so much. So besides this, also see there is a lot of emphasis on being a lifelong learner today for the young people. So is there anything you wish to share on this? Because you have
Def-
already shown us that you built your career with a kind of focus on learning and acquiring skills and knowledge.
the IT landscape, industry landscape has changed so much so that uh, it is changing almost every day.
Yes, yes,
So it's very hard to cope up with the upcoming technologies, and it is also very difficult at some point in time to understand what is needed for you. You'll see so many things coming out every day if you observe, and
right,
then it is very difficult to make a choice. This is what I want. This is what is going to help me.
right.
So uh, one thing that I would say is just you know. um listen to observe what is happening around. That's very important. You
Yes,
need to understand what is actually it is going to impact one or the other way,
right.
um, sooner than later, right? So it is very important to be a keen observer of what is happening around you, especially in the industry where you're in right now,
Yeah.
and um, understand the need for stepping up to learn new technologies, and
Hmm.
being flexible to
Hmm.
acquire upskill
Hmm.
um, every single day. It is very important to understand what is needed for you, what's your interest. you know
Hmm.
Unless and otherwise you give your 100%, you're not able to relate yourself, or you're not able to place yourself in that position. You won't be able to give your best, and if you
Yes,
don't give your best, then you don't get the output that you probably want to have, right? Most importantly, having that mentality of being flexible. I mean, should be like, I'm flexible to change.
yes,
If you're so rigid, saying that, hey, I've been doing this, I don't want to change, then probably uh, it's a matter of time that you become obsolete.
right. Yeah, this is, I think you put it up so beautifully. I just need to pick out few points and just reinforce it. I think one of the important points you just said is this complacency, right? Comfort zone feeling, and
Yep,
then the FOMO part of it. And then also the growth mindset and, the resilience, adaptability, flexibility. I think out of all this, also the emphasis on being a keen observer and being curious. I think this is something which is so critical, because this is where I think you become self-aware. Like you said, I will know what I want to do, and it again connects with my talent, my potential, that has an impact on my job, my future, my productivity, my outcomes. So I think you captured it very beautifully on the whole. And in fact, this is the essence of what we are calling as 21st century skills and transferable skills today. So it is
yep,
like coming from you, it is becoming even more crucial for people who are taking up similar courses to understand that that's not all it is. Parallelly, you need to work on this and keep doing it, like you said, continuously, right? So that,
that's right.
let me come to another very interesting aspect of you as Vinod. That's to do with the interesting hobbies and in other things that you do. So can you tell us more how you manage all this with a full-time job, and what are some of the hobbies which are very close to your heart, so that even those who are watching this, the youngsters, they might get some ideas and insights, because today you see a lot of us have access to these mobile phones, cameras. We all want to do many things, but somewhere we get caught. We don't know how to manage our time. Maybe some interests we can't pursue. So please tell us more about it.
Yeah, one thing that I'm very close, I mean, the hobby that very close to my heart is travel.
Okay.
I keep traveling, and especially with my family. I love traveling with my family. So, uh, just to make it a little more interesting, I've already traveled 27 countries.
Oh, wow.
Would want to, travel the world with my family. So that's one thing that's very close to my heart because one thing that has taught me is how to appreciate people, how to appreciate uh, the determination, the resilience, the
Hmm.
uh, the forward thinking. So
Hmm.
that's one thing. And second thing is that I do uh, file patents. So I hold about 36 authorized patents,
Okay.
and 14 of them are granted. Hopefully, there are more in coming in future. So that's another one that I hold very close. In fact, that makes me stay relevant to the industry because
Hmm.
for you to uh, file patents, you need to be on top of the technology. You need to know the technology in and out,
Yeah.
and uh, you should have the passion towards it. You should be flexible to innovate. You should be
Correct.
flexible to take challenges. You should come up with path breaking, interesting ideas, out of the box ideas. So that is kind of keeping me, grounded and I mean, on top of uh, the industry trends, I must say.
Yeah, so very interesting, especially the patents part. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about one or two patents because it's all about innovation, R&D and things, right? So, uh,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Um, yeah. All my patents are around, um, enterprise servers
Oh,
and its manageability and the
mhm.
technologies that goes into enterprise servers. So
Okay.
I work for Dell. I've been with Dell for last 14 years,
Hmm.
and what I work on is enterprise servers. So we
Hmm.
build enterprise servers that
Yeah.
goes into various business like data centers, cloud, hypercomputing, and um, telecommunication, edge, and various business segments.
Okay.
So it's about understanding how these technologies are being used by
Hmm.
the customers and customers,
Hmm.
and understanding their pain points and deducing statements out of it. So I think that's a starting point. Understanding the pain points,
Hmm.
that becomes the problem statements.
Yeah.
So once you have the real problem statements, then you uh, ideate, brainstorm,
Hmm.
uh, and get into the details of how this could be resolved. How can
Yeah.
we have a solution for this particular problem statement?
Hmm.
So once you have a solution, you need to understand if that is novel, right? If
Hmm.
that is something that's already there,
Yes.
or something that has strategic relevance.
Hmm.
If I patent it, uh,
Yeah.
does it is it going to have any value,
Hmm.
or is the company going to benefit out of it? So are
Hmm.
we protecting something which our competition uh,
Hmm.
is probably going to do in the future, right? So there are these are the some of the aspects that we need to cater in when you you come up with a novel idea,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So it is not just the solution, but the novelty of the solution that makes a difference, and of course the strategic relevance.
Yes.
And one should be able to invest money in um, in funding the patent process. So the
Hmm.
patent process is pretty expensive. and the company should be willing to pay for the patent process.
Okay.
So if the company has to fund it, then it should have a business value associated with it.
Right.
It should be able to generate revenue out of it. It should be
Right.
able to make profits out of it. So that's the key thing
Mhm.
that we need to consider before we pitch the idea.
Okay, that's really a lot of learning also about patents, because we have always heard about it, but then you gave us a process in the gist, like a gist. And that's quite a lot of learning, as I said. So overall, I think, the conversation has been so enriching, and personally for me as well, because I have spoken to so many people from various walks of life connected with skills and education. But your journey is a very different one, Vinod, where I think you have kind of taken many steps to make sure that you are a very holistic person, like, in every way. And also career wise, I think for us, it's very inspiring to learn how you have taken these multiple steps to grow in your career, and the background or the diploma, the starting qualification has never been a kind of a barrier for you. You have broken all that and grown. That's very inspiring. So thank you so much, Vinod, for giving us your time today and sharing your story. And we are very, happy to have this story with us. Thank you. Is there anything you wish to add before we close?
Definitely, I want to tell the listeners of this video or this session is that uh, people say it's the confidence that
Mm.
help you go ahead in your career. But for me, confidence is equal to clarity. You know, if you
Yes,
have the clarity of what you want to do and what you're going to do, what you're capable of doing, that becomes your confidence.
right.
Don't show confidence just for others to perceive you as a confident person, but
Hmm.
for you to be confident, which means that you need to work on having clarity on what you're capable of doing. So
Yes.
if you're an electronic engineer or computer engineer, aspiring to be one of them, any career level you are in, or any domain that you're in, understand what that uh, what is the requirement of that role or the job or the industry.
Hmm.
That gives you clarity on what should I be prepared for.
Yes.
Okay, so the requirements are clear now. So for that, the tips are you talk to the people who are working in that industry, talk to your friends who are working on that domain, working on that technology.
Right.
Okay, understand the requirements. When you have you're very clear what uh, are the requirements of that particular domain or the job role or the industry.
Hmm.
Okay, that's the first thing to do. Second thing is, once the requirements are clear, then you decide whether you want to get there or not. If your answer is yes, then prepare for it.
Yeah.
Have that checklist and then keep ticking.
Yeah.
Once you complete the checklist, I'm sure you'll be super confident. You are clear what it takes for you to be in that role, for
Yeah.
you to function like any other person in that role,
Hmm.
and you're clear that you have that skill, you possess that skill. Then there is, very less ambiguity. You
Correct.
can go confident for yourself, not for others.
Yes, that's very
And
important. Yeah. Then when we are clear about what we want, like you said, I think automatically it builds in us, right? So if we know where we want to go, we also know we will also create that path. But if we don't know where we want to go, we feel that any road will take us there, and then we are lost. Correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Let's, I think, close this conversation, but definitely we would like to have you on any other occasion, because this is so much like a motivational chat also for all of us. Thank
That,
you.
thank you
Thanks
so
so
much
Yeah.
for presenting me with this opportunity.